when I was in high school, I remember taking some of the aptitude tests, and one of the things that they said I shouldn't get into was engineering. Now, I don't know whether I'm just hard-headed and decided that's what I wanted to do. And I did decide that's what I wanted to do, and you know, it's just kind of been great from there. Rosebud is about 10 miles from here. So we're in Falls County, kind of in the middle of Texas. Falls County was known as the stalker capital of Texas. Now what stalkers are calves. When they're taken off their mama, they go to a stalker operation to put them on grass till they get up to about 700, 800 pounds. And then from there they go to a feedlot operation. So it's kind of a middle range in terms of the development of the meat industry. And because the grass in this county is so good, Falls County was defined years ago as the stalker capital of Texas. We had some friends that we were real close with that moved to Missouri, and they started getting into longhorns. And we went to a field trip down in South Texas to the King Ranch and a couple of other ranches, looking at longhorns, and got interested in them and started getting into them in about 1985.
Wow.
And it's just kind of grown from then. You can't have one or two. You got to have a lot more. Then you need more space to handle them. So things have just grown.
Yeah.
A lot of this wasn't here. We built it all, and it's what I'm going to spend my time in retirement. It's a beautiful place, and I enjoy fooling with the cows and the place. I came to Brown and Gay in 1999, developing the Public Works Department to being over the Public Works Department, and then the planning, the land development department, to Chief Operating Officer, now President, has been just a fantastic ride. I retire at the end of this year, and we have a group to take over that I think will take us to the next level. What attracted me to Brown and Gay to begin with was the reputation of Pat Brown and Dick Gay in the community, as well as the reputation of the firm, Brown and Gay. And when I got there, I recognized what made it work so well was the people and the way they dealt with each other internally. It's a firm that values people, and they operate a different way. A lot of firms that I've been associated with have profit centers, and everybody is real focused on the money. Now, we manage the money side of things, but we don't focus the people on that. Their job is to solve problems, solve the client's problems, and focus on the clients, and do the right thing. And I think that's what makes Brown and Gay what they are. Well, I think integrity is one of the most important things in the business, as well as getting a broad background in what we do. When I started, I was with a firm, Turner, Colley and Braden, that doesn't exist anymore. It's now been bought by AECom. But I had a pretty good variety of background. I worked in water supply planning, drainage planning, wastewater. So I did a lot of different things as well as land development. And the consulting business changes over time. You know, one decade you're working on wastewater, another decade you're working on water. So the more understanding you have of different areas of practice, I think rounds you better and prepares you for whatever condition or whatever issue is out there that consultants have to deal with. Well, we've gone from a Houston-based firm to a firm that's recognized across the state. We've grown a lot, but at the same time, we've maintained the values and the culture, I think, that Pat Brown and Dick Gay started the firm with, and I'm proud of that. I've been in this business for 40 plus years now, and I've seen those things, those downturns occur, and I understand that when those occur, you have to adjust, and with the help of the leadership we had there, we put our heads together and figured out what areas we needed to adjust in. It's a hard time because it's really hard to cut people, but it's something that has to happen when a downturn comes. Fortunately, we were in some public practices that were going pretty strong, so we were able to shift some people from land development and site development, which were hit pretty hard in the downturn, into some of the public areas, but we still had to do some reduction in staff, and that's a difficult thing to do for anybody. And a lot of the people at Brown and Gay hadn't been through that before, which made it even more difficult for them to go through that process. But it's a learning experience. One of the things we also did during that time was started looking ahead to see how to position, and because we were doing fairly well in the public side, we were able to spend the money to position and hire some key people so that when the market came back, we were able to grow again pretty quickly and respond to the upturn as things came back. Well, I guess one of the things that you do as you move up is you have to turn things loose, and trust that others can do as good a job as you could do, and that's always a challenge for people in our business that grew up doing projects, to turn those loose and trust that the other guys that are there, gals, can do those projects as well as you can, and when you can do that, then you can grow. If you don't do that, you stagnate and you can't grow. But it's not an easy thing to do sometimes, to turn that loose, because you enjoy doing those kind of projects. Some people kind of get fixed on one area and think that's all they can do, but it's pretty easy to move from area to area. And I try to encourage people to think outside of whatever area they think their expertise is in to look at other areas to be involved with. Whether they're involved in a lot of detailed design or more just in a peripheral basis, so they understand the background of that area of practice. I guess Art and I got to know each other pretty well through the Houston Chamber of Commerce. Now it's called the Partnership. You know, ASCE is one place. I got involved in ASCE early on. Then I moved to, at the time it was called ACME, Association of Consulting and Municipal Engineers. It's been changed now to the ACEC, Association of, what is it, Consulting Engineers Texas. The names have changed, but that group in Houston interfaces pretty heavily on a policy basis with the governmental entities. I chaired the flood control committee of that group for a number of years. And through some of those organizations, as well as the chamber, you get involved in policy issues that affect the area, the community, helping to address those. So it's good to be involved in those kinds of things where you can get involved in the issues that are being addressed from a policy standpoint and help define that policy. Well, you have to be involved in the community through chamber groups or other organizations to be able to understand what the needs are for the community and what the communities want. And then from that, it gives you ideas about what kind of things are out there that you could possibly create to address some of the needs of those communities. You know, a number of years ago, even before I came to Brown and Gay, we created some projects for flood control, the regional attention projects. Well, there was a need, a problem, and created a way to solve that problem. A lot of those regional detention facilities are now in place, but the ideas came from not from the public side, but from the private side of how to address that problem. In the end, the ethical way to operate is the best way. Whatever practice you're in, whatever business you're in.
Yeah, but there's something.
It always doesn't work that way, but I think that's the way that will create the most success in the end. Yeah. Well, we're dealing with a problem that's similar right now, where we've had a slope failure, a concrete slope failure on a detention facility that we were brought in because they'd had a previous failure. So we were brought in to fix this failure in a district that we weren't the district engineer, but we had a guy that wanted to solve the problem for him. So he designed a fix. It was constructed, and it failed. Now, the district is coming back to us to see what are we going to do, and we've analyzed the problem and tried to figure out what the cause was, which we understand, and we've gone to our insurance company and said, look, this was our fault. We didn't design it right. We need to go fix it. So we need to sit down with them and we defined what the cost was going to be, and rather than go to litigation, we'll pay our upfront costs that's required by the insurance company, and then engage the insurance policy to cover the rest. And the insurance company is willing to do that. So again, it's, clearly we're not going to win in the long run. So we might as well step up and say, it's our fault, we need to fix it. And if the insurance company wouldn't fix it, then it cost us a lot of money. But they're stepping up and saying, yeah, okay, because they know that if it went to a suit, it would cost them a lot more money in the long run, and we get the problem fixed. And it's not just the problem that failed, the area that failed, because there's more area that'll probably fail in the future. So the fix is to fix the whole thing up front. The individual that designed that is gone. Is not gone because of that, but at the same time, the design was he came up with a design to begin with that probably would have worked. A contractor came in and convinced him to not do as much, which was the wrong thing to do because it cost too much. Well, it was the right solution to begin with, and he should have stuck with it. Oh, I think for as someone that helped grow the firm and maintain the culture that Pat and Dick developed.